I'm going to tell you the three biggest reasons that people don't actually manifest exactly what it is that they want. The first reason is that, unfortunately, people don't know what they want. I've said before, people have a very clear idea about what they don't want. And in fact, we're genetically programmed to understand what it is that we don't want, right? That's literally a part of our DNA, is to run from things that'll eat us or to not be sick. Like, that part is easy. But knowing exactly what it is that you do want, that's much harder. I've been working with people in all works of life for a really long time. And I remember that, I met a guy who I was trying to see where he was in his head. He wanted to move into a different space in his life. He wanted to start to realize his dreams. And his dream was to be a millionaire and live on the beach. And I remember asking him, I said, well, what is it that you really want? He said, no, I really want millions of dollars and to live on the beach. I said, well, what happens after the beach? I said, what do you mean? I was like, well, you can't be on the beach forever. Right? Like that gets old. He said, it won't get old for me. Now, I don't want to talk about the science of how habituation happens. I promise you, no one can just spend their entire life on the beach and be happy and not doing anything else, not doing anything fulfilling. The very ways that we experience flow, the very ways that we experience joy, the experience happiness, it can't just be all downtime. But I think for someone who is in battle, for someone who lives, to me, is working a hard job, right? He's working a hard, mentally hard, like hard on the body, overnight, third shift, graveyard shift type job. So I get it. When you're in battle that way, physically and mentally, that you want relief. And even if he had said, I want relief from my current conditions, that would have made more sense. That would have at least been more honest. But this escape from current conditions, which is different than like relief, right? This escape from current conditions. And I just want to be on the beach for the rest of my life. Not only is it not sustainable, but in a very real way, it's not looking at the actual, pain, the actual problem about what it is that you want. And it's okay to have desires. Rabbi Akiva says that every time we shift in our chair, it's to go from a place of less comfort to a place of more comfort. Our human desires push us in the direction of our fulfillment. We need those desires. But and those are always connected to the pain, or they're at least connected to our discomfort. That's why I bring it up. But if you can't be honest about your discomfort, if you can't be honest about what it is that you want, if you don't know what it is that you really, really, really want and why you want it deep down, then it's going to be very, very, very hard for you to manifest what it is that you want. So the first reason that so many people fail in manifesting at the top level, at the highest levels, is because they don't know what they want. The second reason that people really, I think, struggle with trying to manifest something that's amazing. Listen, if the idea, there's one of the gurus, I think it's Esther Hicks, who I really like in some ways. She's a little bit weird in some ways, right? I don't know why she talks the way she talks. But even in the movie, they said, like, why don't you try manifesting a cup of coffee? And if you stay at the level of trying to manifest a cup of coffee and you have some belief around it, that's easy. Like, that's really easy. It's much harder to manifest $100 million. That's doable too. And it doesn't necessarily require you to do anything that is more, it doesn't require a different energy. But you do have to do something. Ask anybody who has $100 million company. But, the second reason is that we believe in magic. Our very core of, or you can call it talent, right? It doesn't matter. It means that we have this belief that I could do absolutely nothing and the millions will start rolling, or the love of my life will start rolling in, or the family that I want, or the house that I want will start rolling in. That's not how it works. We want that fantasy. We want that Aladdin. We want to just rub a lamp and then someone gives us all of our wishes. But there's a very easy way to test if this theory is possible. Look at anyone who's out there and see if that's how they did it. I mean, you can look at, we look at people like, the most, biggest success stories who, it seems like one day I'm in a computer room I'm in my dorm room on my computer, like Mark Zuckerberg, and the next, thing we know, I'm worth $1 billion. And it seems like it happened for him overnight. But what you don't know about Mark Zuckerberg's story or Bill Gates' story or anybody else is that they started when they were children. I mean, these are people who were involved in coding. They knew, they were at their craft since they were very, very young. Warren Buffett was at his craft since he was very, very young. So we see the talent part, and this is part, I think, of how our culture worships talent. Our culture worships talent. There's a really good example. Allen Iverson got some infamy around a quote where he's talking about missing. Missing practice, and the quote is all about, we're talking about practice. Now, the interesting part is that what we don't, while that quote has been completely, it speaks to the idea of him saying, "I'm so talented, why do I have to show up to practice?" That's actually it belies really something that's happened underneath. His friend had just gotten killed, and he had missed some practice because he was dealing with, the family of his friend and grief and loss. And then people are like, "Why did you miss practice?" I'm like, "I just lost one of my best friends, and we're talking about practice. We talking about practice? Like, why are we talking about practice when I just had this loss? Like, I'm gonna do my job." But the soundbite in the media made it seem like he was dismissing the idea of practice because he was so talented. And in fact, that's so titillating to how we think about talent anyway. We love this idea of talent. I think it was Nietzsche said something like, if we have to see the work of the artist become what it is, then we're not interested anymore. We like the idea, our vanity, our self-love. We like the idea that this thing is perfect because it means that I don't have to do any work. And it's this idea, it's the lottery idea. If I could just win the lottery, let me manifest. Listen, if you were trying to manifest lottery winnings, you're doing it wrong. Because even if you get the lottery win, you're not going to be able to keep it. It simply doesn't work that way. Look at the data. Look at the people who win lottery, big lottery pots, and then see where they are 10, 15 years out. For some people, it's 5 years out. We want the easy route so badly that we're willing to, we're willing to throw our hopes, our dreams at a chance. If only I could manifest this. And that's, what does it say about your belief in yourself? What does it say about your belief in your ability to bring something amazing into the world? The way that we manifest great things is to do the work. And that's, the work. Ooh, nobody said anything about work. Yeah, you got to do some work. You read The Alchemist, which is probably, Paulo Coelho's, it's probably the best story of modern manifesting out there, right? Or even J.K. Rowling's. No matter how you feel about her politics, they wrote books. Like, they sat down and wrote a book. It wasn't like, Paulo Coelho was sitting on the beach one day wondering how could I make it? He wrote the thing. J.K. Rowling wrote the thing. And so that part is important. We can't overlook the fact that there's actually work involved. So we got to do the work. And the last reason that people don't really get to manifest what it is that they actually want is because we don't believe that we deserve it. We don't believe that we can have it. I think deep down, so many people, when you look at the talent worship, when you look at their fact that they want a savior, they want somebody to come in and swoop them so they don't have to do anything, right? Please rescue me from these conditions. And sometimes they're bad conditions, but here's the bad news. Nobody's coming. Here's the good news. You have the ability in an instant to change your life and what it looks like. But what does it say? And I said this earlier. What does it say about us if we don't even believe that we deserve that? And so that last part is like, I don't even believe I deserve this. Deep down, I know that I don't. Deep down, I'm not worthy. And if we start looking at people's self-worth, if we could look at how you actually think that you deserve the thing, and why you're worthy, why you're deserving, you'll see that's part of what's missing for so many people. They want the rescue because they believe that if I really, really, really tried, it still might not happen. And then who would I be? So if you can tackle these ideas, listen, it starts with defining exactly what it is that you want. And then the rest, if you can just start there. I mean, listen, this is not hard. This is not. Jim Rohn said a thing that I love. He said, getting rich is easy. Right? Getting rich is not hard. And there's a twist to this, right? Because it is easy and it's hard at the same time. It's not hard in the sense that calculus is hard, especially when you're really bad at math. It's not hard in the sense that picking up a car, from someone who's being squished, that's nearly impossible. It's not that kind of hard. It's getting up early in the morning hard when you don't feel like getting up. It's putting on those running shoes hard when you don't feel like running. The thing that's necessary to run a marathon, the same mentality, almost the same skill set. If you can run a marathon, you can earn $1 million, right? If you can write a book, you can manifest the love of your life. These are the same. There's only one way to manifest things. There's only one way to do it. And so if you can get really clear about what you want and be willing to do the work, you can have, be, or do anything you want.